All right, people. My dogs are barking. Way to start the live show. My dog's going crazy all the time. But what is up? NXT War Games was last night. Event I went to last year, and I had a fun time last year. I thought it was one of my favorite. My first ever takeover. A good time overall. But what do I think about War Games 2019? To me personally, War NXT. I feel like them being part of Survivor Series hurt this takeover event. I really do. I really feel like this takeover event was hurt because of the fact that NXT was force fed into Survivor Series. Like it felt like at the last moment. Like this whole Survivor Series build, and I'm gonna get into this too in the video, has just been kind of ass in my personal opinion. I felt the first SmackDown when NXT came out and then they were trying to make an impact and make a statement. I was like, okay, this is gonna be something cool and awesome. But then ever since, man, ever since they've been kind of like doing this whole Survivor Series thing, I feel like it's kind of ruined the whole mood of NXT. I feel like NXT really, to be honest, like their storylines just haven't been interesting to me because like you're trying to intertwine like this main roster storyline that oh yeah, Team NXT is against the main roster, but then you have it where at War Games the Undisputed Era is trying to kill Ciampa and stuff, and then it's like well isn't Ciampa one of the most loyal guys in NXT? Shouldn't they want to be on his side? And like, why would Ciampa want to team up with the Undisputed Era guys? And same with the women. It's December. They should have just did like, you know what? We know NXT can stand on its own. We don't need to have a takeover this event. Or if you're gonna have like a takeover or something, if you're gonna do something, make it where it's like a bunch of guys we don't see that much on TV. Make it like some takeover special. Make it like some NXT tournament or something. I don't know. I just felt this War Games the storylines just weren't there for me. Like it just wasn't there, and I just feel like it's because it's been hodgepodge with the Survivor Series storylines. I feel like Survivor Series kind of overtook what could have been a really good storytelling pay per view of NXT War Games. I mean, let's be real here. I say this a lot, and especially if you watch any of my live streams or videos, you guys notice the problem with WWE is not match quality. The match quality in WWE has been its best in years. The problem is the storytelling. All the matches tonight were pretty good. Were good, were great to good if you just watch it as a match alone. But the problem is what people don't realize is you got to also put in the stories to factor in. You got to look at the storylines that are also going into this. And really, to be honest, the stories were ass. They were rush. The video packages were pretty much the story, and they pretty much just didn't deliver. Like the matches themselves, if you look at it in-ring psychology standpoint, just made no fucking sense. Like they just made no sense. Like it's sad to me that Finn Balor versus Matt Riddle was the one match where I said that's the only match that made sense. It was. That was the only match where I was like that makes sense. The storylines that they do here make sense. The moves that they executed made sense. The guy who won here made sense. Everything else about the whole pay-per-view storyline wise just didn't make sense. Just didn't deliver. And I feel like that's a problem that we have with NXT and especially the main NXT right now, especially because wrestling fans, it's just like, oh yeah, just give them matches. That'll be good enough. Just because the good matches doesn't mean shit. Like to be honest, like just because you put on a good match, I'm not like all that impressed. Like, oh cool, you put on a good match. Can you do something else? Like that's just me. I don't really be like, oh, how can you complain about good matches? I'm just saying, man. When that's all we get nowadays is just good matches, it devalues what you watch. When you watch it, it just feels like the same shit. This is why it's like bad that NXT and AEW are going against each other on Wednesday nights. You flip the channel and you just see the same thing. There's nothing different. Like the only time you feel like it's different is when like Chris Jericho, Velveteen, Cody, guys that are not like normally looking guys that you see are there. Heck, even Finn Balor. But anyways, we'll get through this card. We'll go through it. That's just my brief summary. So that was kind of like my disclaimer warning for like people who are watching this, especially like because I know like this will get good playback. Like if you're watching this on the playback and you're like, oh my god, what is this guy bitching about? Just know, man, I'm just telling you how I feel. Sorry, dude. The sun is just killing it right now. Holy shit. By the way, this is winter in California. We don't get this snow you people talk about unless you're like in Mammoth or up north and stuff like that. But yeah, if you guys are excited that I'm back for this one, give it a thumbs up. As a Survivor Series review, I most likely will have that Monday after I take my nap. I'm working overnights in my second and my other job, so I have two. If you guys don't know, I have two jobs right now and whatnot. So it's just been pretty busy and stuff. And the phone camera, man, it's doing me injustice, man. It's added like 20 pounds to my face. I do not look this bad, guys. Trust me. I look a lot better when I on the regular camera. Update on the laptop and everything. I should have everything fixed. By hopefully December, I'll have everything fixed with my laptop camera and the laptop microphone, and hopefully we'll start doing regular content. As you guys know, like I said in January, I want to come back to YouTube and start doing a little bit more of what we usually do, the live streams, and also I purchased Adobe, so hopefully a little bit more edited content. And if you guys have any ideas for edited content, you guys know where to reach me: Twitter, DM me, give me ideas of what you guys would like to see on the channel, and I'll put in the work and effort to it, just to do it. Obviously, like YouTube, it's just something I want to try to do. It helps, looks good on my resume if I can show people like, hey, I can grow an audience and everything like that. So, and I truly believe it's not too late to always start something and reach the grind of something. It's just like right now with like the school, the two jobs and everything, I just felt like if I try to go hard, it's not even worth my time. But January, we're gonna try to reach a goal. But so, anyways, let's get started with this War Games review. Give the video a thumbs up, share it, all that other stuff. So the phone I'm using is a Galaxy S10. It really makes me look terrible. Like I do not look this terrible. I actually lost a lot of weight and stuff. I think it's the beard too. I look like a typical neck beard wrestling fan. I look like one really bad right now. So, anyways, the women's War Games match. This match was pretty solid. I thought it was kind of fun. I just felt the storytelling was just all over the place. Like the Dakota Kai turn on Tegan Knox, that's fine. That's cool, I guess. But I was like, why wouldn't she turn on Rhea Ripley? Rhea Ripley's really the one that started the whole Dakota Kai being mad at someone, right? Am I mistaken? So why is it that she betrays Tegan Knox? Why is it that we're having two women beat four women? That made no sense to me. That literally just made no sense to me. It was just like, for me personally, it was like, why would you do this? Why would you have it where there's like is Rhea Ripley just because she looked like Triple H that much? Is Triple H trying to push this woman to the fucking moon? Because really, to be honest, it just feels like it. It feels like she's just trying to they're trying to push Rhea Ripley to the moon and make her the next big thing for NXT. Is this like a USA Network thing? Is this like a USA? Because I really don't know, man. They're like pushing Rhea Ripley, but the match itself, it was fine. It was there. It was good. There was a cool spot by Io where she does like the moonsault and everything. But you're a heel. Why you're doing like a babyface move like that? To me, it's just like, this is the shit that I'm talking about, man. These wrestlers, they just go out there and they just do moves, and they don't even think like, oh yeah, this is what we need to do to really generate heat. Like that's why I appreciate Shayna Baszler. She could easily be one of the most cheered wrestlers on the roster for sure, but she's not going out there and doing that. Shayna Baszler is going out there and she's just doing what her character is meant to do, and that's why I appreciate what Shayna Baszler brings to the table. But Rhea Ripley's team winning when it was like 4-on-2 just made no sense to me. It was just something that was nonsensical, and I felt like the WWE handled this wrong. Like I feel like Shayna Baszler should have got another like heel win. I know they're trying to build up an opponent for Shayna Baszler. I'm guessing Rhea Ripley is that opponent. But to me, I just feel like when you're going to go out there and you're going to make someone a star, you shouldn't make what's it called? You shouldn't like go out there out of your way to make Rhea Ripley look that good, especially if she's not going to win the first one-on-one match with Shayna Baszler. Because if you have where you make Rhea Ripley win this match and then she doesn't win the first one-on-one match against Baszler, then what was the point? That's just my point of the thing. So what's the point if you're going to make Rhea Ripley win this match and then the one-on-one match comes and then it's like LOL, she loses. Like it's a typical Shayna Baszler. Oh look, that person's going to win. Kakita, the Mirafuba clutch or what a Kokina clutch, same shit, dude. The Mirafuba whatever, and then all of a sudden, freaking they lose. I'm just saying. Match was fun. It was fun. Good start. Nothing too spectacular. It wasn't something where I was like, oh, you got it. Like this match does not go out of your way to see. The Dakota heel turn was cool and all, but it wasn't like something where I was like, you need to see. Like it's probably been posted on Twitter like a billion times. Pete Dunne versus Suicide versus what's his name, Killian Dane. Suicide is Damian Priest. Why I call him Suicide? Just listen to his voice, man. He sounds like Suicide from TNA. Not the guy in real life, but in the video game. He literally just sounds like the Suicide voice actor. So that's his name for me and stuff. I don't hate him or anything. He just sounds like Suicide. Um, Whatever. I don't understand. Like, I get the storyline. Like, these three have been beating each other up and stuff like that. But this isn't something I was demanding. This wasn't something that I was interested in. Maybe if y'all were interested in it, that's cool. But it was just like, to me, like, I felt like if you're going to do this triple threat and make it seem like it was like between three guys and stuff, and they were brawling throughout the whole arena, maybe a Falls Count Anywhere match or parking lot brawl, something different than just hey, it's a regular fucking wrestling match. I mean, this is called Wargames, so why could you just do something else? Yeah, match was fine. It was what it was. Pete Dunne won. Okay, he's gonna fight Adam Cole if Adam Cole can walk today. Sweet. I just didn't care for this match. Like I was just like, okay, Killian Dane. I felt that this guy was like the next guy that John Cena was gonna beat up down the line. When John Cena was still a thing. Damian Priest, Punishment Martinez. He was in ROH. You know, cool, I guess, but nothing really too special right now. And then Pete Dunne, he's all right. He's good. He's a great talent. But it's just like for me, it's like this match didn't do anything for him. Like I feel like they didn't really need this match. Like I just feel like like Pete Dunne could have just come out, got a promo saying that he's going for the NXT Championship, and then you could have gone in a cool brawl between Killian Dane and Damian Priest gets involved, and that would have been more substantial to me than like, oh, let's go out there and have a match and do a bunch of shit, and let's make Punishment Martinez and freaking Killian Dane look weak. Because I feel like that's what they did. They really made those two boys look weak. They didn't make them look like stars. This match does not make me say, "Oh man, I can't wait to see Damian Priest and Killian Dane fight again." Like, no, it did nothing like that. It really did nothing to make me want to see these guys wrestle again. It just made them look like chumps. That's just my personal opinion. You don't have to like it, but it's my opinion. Next up, the match to me personally that was actually made sense from a storyline standpoint, was sensical, was Finn Balor versus Matt Riddle. Balor needs new theme music. He can't have this like he needs to get some new theme music. Triple H, get on that. You love this guy, so give Prince Devitt new theme music or whatever. But yeah, Balor and Matt Riddle, I felt they two had solid chemistry. The match was nothing special, but the way that, like really, to be honest, Finn Balor felt like a main eventer here. This right here, this match right here, you could tell there was a difference between Finn Balor and Matt Riddle. Like Matt Riddle, like maybe body type wise, looks like a main eventer, but the aura that Finn Balor was giving in this match, I don't know what it was. Maybe it's because he has been on the main roster. He is a former world champion. He's had big matches in WWE. But like straight up, I looked at the guy and I was just like compared to Matt Riddle, I was like, okay, Matt Riddle, sure, I guess. Finn Balor, like I was like, put the world title on this guy. Like he just felt like a main eventer. He literally just felt like a big time deal, a big time star in this match. I don't know if there's something in the water I was drinking. It was just regular like Costco water, but he literally felt different. He felt like he was on a bigger level than Matt Riddle. I don't know how to really explain it, but Finn Balor just felt like a main eventer. He literally just felt like a big time star. And that's something sometimes NXT is lacking, is that big time star. And Finn Balor, he felt like it. He looked like it. I don't know what's different. Maybe NXT is good for him. Maybe he just he's good in this being a big fish in a smaller pond type of gimmick right now. But yeah, he looked good. I feel like WWE did a good job at making Finn Balor a good attraction right now for NXT because he doesn't need a world title. He doesn't need the NXT championship. I just think like you could put the world title on him, like just because like he feels like he deserves a world title just based off his look alone. But like he's one of those guys where it's like he's a legit guy. He doesn't need a world championship to be a legit guy. He can kind of feud with anyone on the roster, but you can't keep him like that for too long. You got to kind of put the world title on him eventually. I don't know when, but honestly, I feel like he just feels like such a bigger star compared to what they currently have on the NXT roster. And I just feel like Finn Balor delivered in that at retrospect. I was just blown away how Finn Balor actually felt like a main eventer compared to Matt Riddle. And, he's smaller than Riddle too. So, but yeah, I thought this match was the most sensible match of the night. Maybe you want to see more Finn Balor. Maybe you want to kind of want to see more Matt Riddle in the future. Did its job, got me a little bit more excited about Finn Balor being in NXT. Besides the fact that he says, "Oh, the prince is back. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm back. I'm tired of always being looked down upon." Like it made me more excited. It made me say, "Okay, this heel turn was worth it." Now we get to the men's War Games match, the Undisputed Era versus Ciampa, Keith Lee, the Joe Bucko bitch, and the mystery partner. One thing that I felt was super awkward was that they had everyone come out like one at a time and stuff like that. And then they had like the referees try to separate the people before they went into the cage. I remember last year when I went, they just let the Undisputed Era all come out, and then Adam Cole went into the ring first and whatnot. To me personally, this match, like, you look at Team Ciampa, and then you look at the Undisputed Era. Why did Team Ciampa need a fourth guy? Like, I'm being dead serious, man. You look at Keith Lee, you look at Dominic Dijakovic, you look at Ciampa. Like, there was no reason why they needed a fourth guy. But also, too, I felt like the fourth guy's return was just kind of a waste of time, in my personal opinion. So it was a cool return. Don't get me wrong. Like, the pop was sick. It was a good moment. But yeah, when the buzzer went off and the Undisputed Era was beating up the three guys, and then all of a sudden they're like what's his name? Kyle O'Reilly. He goes, yeah, they have no one. There's nobody. And then all of a sudden you're and then Kevin Owens comes out. That was hype. But then it was just like the match kept going, and then they started doing a bunch of crazy spots. And then it was just like the hype of Kevin Owens coming back kind of died down. It's like, damn, man, you really took away all of Kevin Owens' thunder and stuff. But overall, though, it was just like the match itself, it was crazy and bonkers. Like, this is one of those matches, like, forget the storyline. Like, you got to watch it without knowing the storyline. Like, it's more fun that way. It's more fun. It's just a PWG clusterfuck if you just watch it from, like, with no storyline. It's a great match without a storyline. There's matches like that where you just watch them and their storyline's not needed. Like there's certain matches you need the story. Like Rock and Hogan, you need the story behind that shit. You can't just watch a match and think, oh, it's great by itself. No. You gotta have the storyline. You gotta know the meaning behind it. Certain matches you need that. NXT does a good job of having those matches where it's like you go back and watch these takeovers and you don't need to care about the storylines all that much. You just want to watch some good ass matches. They deliver. But the problem is, from a story perspective, if like here's the thing, taking off this is a great match perspective and looking at it from a storyline perspective, I don't know what this does, to be honest, because Ciampa's the one that delivered this huge final blow to Adam Cole. Yet tomorrow he's not going for the world title. It's Pete Dunne. Like to me personally, the person who got the winning pinfall, and this way it could have made the baby faces a little bit more competitive with each other. Because let's be real here, Keith Lee, like, I get it that they hate the Undisputed Era, but just because they beat the Undisputed Era in the War Games match, it's not like all of a sudden the Undisputed Era is like, oh well, we're done, guys. We can't do what we've been doing. They got beat last year at a War Games match, and they still kept doing what they're doing. So what makes it different now that all of a sudden, they beat each other up at a War Games match, that the Undisputed are like, oh, drats, guys. Now we can't help Adam Cole when he fights Ciampa for the world title. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't do anything. Like, it was just there because they were just like, hey, we need a War Games match and stuff like that. Like, I felt like this War Games match, honestly, just wasn't needed. Like, this could have been a match that could have been a much different. This could have been Ciampa versus Adam Cole for the world title. You could have done the unlikely duel of Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic versus the other two, O'Reilly and Fish, for that title. And then the North American Championship, hell, you could have done Roderick Strong and Kevin Owens and literally have like a legit shock return or something like that. Like, I felt like you could have divided this in three different matches and would have been much better. Heck, if you wanted to do Ciampa versus Cole in the cage, you could have done that. That's fine. I just felt, to me personally, like, what does this match do storyline wise to make the Undisputed Era all of a sudden say, oh, you know what, we don't want to fuck with these guys. They're not going to change. They're going to come out there and do the same shit. And to me now, it's like, Adam Cole did this crazy spot with Tommaso Ciampa, and now you're going to sit here and make me say, oh yeah, you know who's the number one contender? Pete Dunne. The fuck? No, Ciampa should be fighting for the belt tomorrow, not Pete Dunne. That's what should have been the storyline too. Is that the winner, the person who gets the winning pinfall from the face team, will face Adam Cole at Survivor Series. That way, Adam Cole, when he's doing this whole being the leader of Team NXT at Survivor Series type of gimmick, he can go ahead and run away, or maybe add some add some stakes to it that ties into Survivor Series or whatever. I just feel like that this match, honestly, yes, great from a crazy wrestling fan perspective. It's a fun match to watch. It's bonkers as hell. You're going to go back to this match one day and be like, wow, that was so much fun. But storyline wise, it ain't going to do anything. This ain't going to make me say, oh, yeah, man, the Undisputed Era guys are not going to fuck with Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic anymore. No, they're going to sit there and be like, okay, we're going to still do the same shit. So what did this match accomplish, really? It just made Ciampa look like a badass and make Ciampa really pretty much settled him as the legit number one contender. But it didn't do anything else. It had Kevin Owens return, and then it was just it should have ended there. Once KO came out, they should have said, okay, let's think of they should have done the crazy spot then. Them doing all that table spots and stuff like that, I felt that was a waste of time. And to me personally too, the one group you shouldn't try to hurt too much is the Undisputed Era. All four of those members have been in each Wargames match. Adam Cole and Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly won their first one. Roderick Strong was with the AOP, if you guys remember at the time. Then the second one they lost, but it's this one they should have won. Because if you think about it, this is what I'm saying. We have been, and especially casual fans who watch only Raw and SmackDown, they have been conditioned that the Undisputed Era is this dominant faction, that no one can stop the Undisputed Era. Yet now, it's just all of a sudden, you have it where three guys, plus the returning Kevin Owens, who have never worked together in their flipping lives. Heck, the two guys, Dijakovic and Keith Lee, they were killing each other on NXT. They're rivals. So you're trying to tell me these three guys were able to work together and beat the Undisputed Era? You know how much that hurts, the casual fan taking these guys seriously, looking at them and saying, oh, yeah, this is supposed to be a dominant faction? I know everyone's going to go back through the history books and be like, oh, the Horsemen didn't win every War Games chase and blah, 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 blah. I get it. I understand. People are going to go there and say that. But here's the thing. This is different. You're establishing the Undisputed Era, not just on your NXT brand, but on three different brands. On Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, that this faction is pretty much the faction you do not want to fuck with. That's like the WWE putting the Shield in, saying the Shield reunites for the 80th time, and they're going in a War Games match, and they call them the most dominant faction, and then they lose to a team of Shorty G, King Corbin, and Santino. Could you imagine if you just sat there and just oh, that made no sense? Why were the Shield losing here? Even if the Shield lost to a legit wrestling team like Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, and Big E. You would sit there and be like, wait, what do these three have in common that the Shield don't? You know what I'm saying? It just hurts the presentation of the Undisputed Era, them losing this match, especially because they lost last year's War Games match. This is where you have to establish the Undisputed Era as your top heels, as the team to beat. Because, like I said, the people who watch Raw and SmackDown are already conditioned that the Undisputed Era are untouchable. Keep that going. Ciampa can take a loss here. It's not like you need to rush Ciampa back to the main event scene. Keith Lee doesn't really need a win here at this moment of time because, frankly, you're not really doing much with him. Dijakovic, you're not going to do much with him anyways. You already know this guy maybe will get a North American title shot once in his life, but that's it. Kevin Owens, okay, yes, maybe you couldn't have them lose here because you got Kevin Owens to return, but there could have been some smart, shifty way. You could have done some heel tactics. Maybe Adam Cole super kicks Ciampa outside the cage, and that causes the forfeit or some bullshit. You could have done something. You have to make Undisputed Era look good, and that was my problem with this match. Was that, yes, throughout the match, Undisputed Era looked good, but they did not win, and they lost to a ragtag team. It wasn't like last year where they lost to at least one team and Ricochet and who's beating a couple of the Undisputed Era guys and Pete Dunne, who people like respect or whatever. It was just like, he just lost to a ragtag team. And that's my problem with it. If that doesn't bug you guys, that's fine. But to me personally, for this weekend, you've been building up these guys as big deals and everything. You should have had the Undisputed Era win. That's just my personal opinion. All right. What did you guys think about War Games 2019? I thought the show, turn off the storylines and stuff like that. It's a great show. With the storylines and knowing what you're doing, I just felt this was another typical WWE production. I just feel like they just hot shotted this War Games. I felt like they just did it because they wanted to have an event in Chicago with the NXT crowd. And I get it because Chicago's a hot crowd. They're gonna care. They're actually gonna cheer. They're actually gonna cheer with the fans and everything like that. They're gonna cheer for the spots and whatnot. I get that. But I just feel like they should have pushed War Games to December after the whole Survivor Series scene. I feel like this should have been like, if you really wanted an NXT event for Chicago, find like a special, do like another breakout tournament or something like that. Give it maybe to guys who don't really shine that much because the Chicago crowd will make those guys into stars. That's what they don't understand. Like, yeah, at first they might be quiet, the Chicago crowd, but then if those goers go out there and have a good match and stuff like that, like I look at like Swerve and I look at Angel Garza and I look at other guys that maybe could have gotten some shine on this card, they would have gone behind them and then fans would have been like, okay, I want to see more of this guy. To me personally, this card, it didn't do much for me moving forward for NXT. It didn't make me say, hey, I need to watch NXT on a USA Network basis. And it didn't really make me feel like NXT's a favorite heading into tonight at Survivor Series. It just felt like, NXT, it felt like more of a, what's it called? It felt like more, this was just like an individual success for some people, but not an overall success for the brand. That's just to me personally. It is what it is. All right. So I'm gonna head out for today. Thank you guys very much. I got to sleep, mainly because I got to go do overnight tonight at my part-time job. It's gonna be a fun one. Chase is making the dollar signs, baby. But if I wake up in time to watch Survivor Series, I'll watch Survivor Series and maybe I'll review it and stuff. No, I'll do the Q&A for the Monday one, Akira. I do apologize. Hopefully, what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna test my camera on Monday and stuff after I get home from my first job, my office job. Once I get home from my office job, I'll test the camera and hopefully we'll have a traditional Chase Oliver video. I like the phone also too. It just hurts my hand and it's stuff like that. Like I have to hold it in weird angles and stuff. It's just like it's just not a good angle. I need to get like a selfie stick or something so I can just chill and whatnot. But yeah, no, we'll do a Q&A for the Survivor Series review. That could possibly come either tonight, just depending on if I had enough sleep, or Monday at night. Because really, to be honest, what's Raw going to bring to the table? Like, unless Rey Mysterio wins the world title, which I think he is tonight, I don't really care what happens on Raw. Like, just being honest, like Raw is probably my least favorite wrestling show right now. Like my power rankings go SmackDown / AEW number 1, Power number 2, NXT number 3, whatever other wrestling, whether it be Impact, some New Japan, wow, whatever else I can check out in my free time if I have any. And then Raw. Raw's like on the bottom of the barrel, man. I can't. The 2K20 My Career is something else, man. Like they really went out. They really went out of their way with this one. When I saw Samoa Joe had a robot arm, that shit was kind of that was actually kind of cool. I actually like that. I think the characters are just really stupid. Red, nothing about me wants me to play with her. Like nothing about me feels like, oh yeah, I get her. Trey is just stupid. Like they just really made Trey such a jobber. But it's like kind of weird because he's like a jobber character, but he's like a 2-time world champion, right? Like he wins a universal title on night 1, right? Against Samoa Joe. And then he wins the WWE title. I don't remember when in the story, but at some point in the story, it's whatever. I don't like how it's like this hot, like they're in the future, they're reflecting on their career and stuff like that. I really just don't like that story. Like I wish it was actually we were playing as them and there was more choices where it's like, hey, this led to their career and stuff like that. And instead of like it's them reflecting on this list. Like I feel like the list was just like it was a neato idea because it gave the people like it gave you like kind of like because like that's how people get motivated nowadays in life is like you keep a list of things you want to achieve and stuff like that. Conceive, believe, achieve. One of the best self help books you ever read. Shout out to Michael Bisping. But I just felt like just them being the retrospective and that they're in the Hall of Fame. It didn't make me want to like to me personally. I play like my career in NBA because I want to become like the best virtual basketball player character ever. I want people to like look at my Hall of Fame stats and be like, yeah. It was just like it was just like to me, it's like the story was just like not there. I'm not gonna spoil the story just yet. Like I know I said some mojo with the robot arm and them being in the Hall of Fame already, but like there's stuff in the story that does bug me, and I just felt like it's like WWE. You have vanilla ice cream. The list is a good vanilla ice cream idea, but then WWE gets their hands on it, and they have the gummy bears, the fucking sour worms, some caramel drizzle. They just add all this bullshit you don't need into the story, and then you're just like, why do we have this? You know what I'm saying? Like so for me personally, like just for me personally, like I said, I haven't played it. I just watched it. I'm not gonna touch 2K20, mainly from the glitches that I've seen. I'm not touching 2K20 until that shit is dirt cheap. I'm so glad that I did not do so. Originally, the Survivor Series pick'em contest that I was gonna do was for WWE 2K20, and my bank account would have been pissed at me if I would have bought 2K20 for one of y'all. That's just pretty much it. I would have been pissed at myself that I like maybe you guys when you would have been like, hey, thanks Chase for buying me the fucking game. But my bank account would have been pissed. You know what I'm saying? My bank account would have fucking hated me and everything like that. So that was originally what was the pick'em contest was going to be. Was going to be a 2K20 giveaway and everything. And I was just going to give you guys like the code for 2K20. But thankfully, man, thankfully that did not happen. But yeah, to be honest, man, I've just seen a little bit of the story mode. Well, I've seen all the story mode. I watched all the video clips. I haven't played it, but just to me, I just feel like they added too much extra shit that didn't need to be added. Well, thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Remember, guys, just like our WWE champion Brock Lesnar, this guy's still fucking around, man. He's still around. It's wonderful. Like I remember when Roman Reigns beat him at WrestleMania, or no, Roman Reigns beat him out. Like what pay per view did Roman Reigns beat him? SummerSlam. I said this is it. We're no longer going to be saying this catchphrase. It's done for the channel, and he's still here. He's still here. Remember, guys, just like our WWE champion Brock Lesnar, soon to be former, because Rey Mysterio is going to beat him tonight. Don't fucking at me. It's going to happen. I called the Goldberg match, and I'm calling this one too. Sometimes you don't have to give a shit in life. And yo, yo.